Hey Virgo, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ryan with Arrows of Love. Today I'm going to do your September 2022 astrology and tarot reading. I have not done these in quite some time, but I'm going to get back into it now because we're headed towards some pretty interesting events if you haven't already experienced it. So Virgo, we always start with the astrology so I can let you know what's happening in the cards, and you'll see a lot of overlap between the two. And you are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury right now is retrograde, station retrograde just a few days ago on September 10th, right around the time of the full moon in Pisces. And that is activating your first house and your seventh house. So that's you and your relationships. And it's going to be challenging, to say the least, because your ruling planet Mercury right now is in the sign of Libra, and that's two signs past your home sign of Virgo, and that always deals with money. That deals with your income, your resources, possessions, cars, your self-worth. That's how you value yourself. Think about it that way. It's how you value yourself out in the world. It's also about your speech. So you got to be really careful of your speech. In the sign of Libra, this is, of course, decisions in love, decisions in partnerships, maybe business partnerships. And you have to review something here because Mercury retrograde is always a time of review. And this, of course, is going to be impacting you. Now, on top of that, Mercury is also going to be impacting the opposite house that it's in, and that is Aries. And right now we have Jupiter in Aries, and Jupiter is your seventh house lord. That's Pisces. Jupiter rules Pisces. So Mercury and Jupiter have been standing off in the sky for the last week or so. So there could be a lot of tension between you and partnerships, or it could even be work partnerships, joint ventures, because that eighth house where Aries is sitting, it's 8 signs past Virgo, is a sign of endings. It's a sign of upheaval, karmic debts, what's mine, what's yours. And you can be sorting all of these things out right now, and it can be really, really stressful because that is one of tension, oppositions. Mercury, Jupiter, tension, and that involves you and other people. The other thing I want to mention, and this dance is going to be going on for the next 6 weeks, and it feeds into things that are going to be happening over the October timeframe, closer to Halloween, when Mars goes retrograde. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and what you can expect. But this is kind of the start of it. If things have been really tense, if there's been breakups, if there's been arguments, it's that Mercury-Jupiter opposition in the sign of Libra. Partnerships, what's mine and what's yours? Are you making a decision in partnerships? It's all of those things, and Mercury retrograde always affects you the most because that's where Mercury exalts in your sign. So it's a lot of tension, okay? You're going to resolve this in one way or the next, but I want you to know that Mars, the planet of action, vitality, inertia, aggression, rules police, cutting, severing, is right now in Gemini. And for you, that is your ninth house. Gemini is 9 signs past Virgo. The ninth house has to do with long distance travel, gurus, father figures, foreign, distant, foreign lands, mentors of all types. So Mars right now is coming through this sign, which also Mercury rules, by the way. The sign of Gemini is also a mercurial sign. So it's cutting out some trickster energy here, perhaps. But you could also be doing some traveling. You're going to want to do some traveling over this next couple of weeks. But with Mercury retrograde, expect delays, expect irritations. You could be dealing with two-faced people. Be careful, the trickster can be quite tricky in the sign of Gemini. Mars is going to want to cut it. So, if you're dealing with tricky people, maybe it's time to let them go. But that ninth house, it's very much about your beliefs, your ideals. So think about it in terms of you're having this conflict between partnership, maybe you're trying to figure things out between you two. And what it really comes down to is your ideals and your beliefs. And you have to communicate that very clearly. And Mars is going to want to cut. Mars is not a relationship planet. Mars is concerned about the victory, after all, because it's the warrior. So, it's a matter of getting down to those beliefs and making sure that you're on the same page with your partner. And that's what we can expect for the next couple of months. It's a lot of review, basically. Saturn is also retrograding back in the sign of Aquarius. That is your 5th house of romance, Saturn is delay, restriction, shame, insiders and outsiders. It's the limit, right? Saturn's the boundary. It's the last visible planet to the naked eye. So it's always considered the end. Death, decay, age, old people. And that sign of, and it's retrograding back, and that's that fifth house. So there could be some issues with children because fifth house is children. It's also education. So you might be wanting to go back to school, but it's also dealing with romance. So people could reappear from your past that you need to resolve. There's some unresolved karma there because Saturn's always karma. But it's also not necessarily a good return. Saturn is always a no. So remember that. If there are people coming back that you had short-term relationship with, I'd be careful, okay? So, especially with Mercury retrograde, people always come back during this time. It's a good practice to just realize forgiveness, okay? And when people come back from your past, they're looking for closure, usually, forgiveness of some type. And I heard a really good thing. I was listening to one of my favorite astrologers, and she was mentioning that Mars and Saturn are archetypal opposites. Saturn is the hard no, it's the wall, saying not now. It's restriction and delay, right? Mars is the gas pedal. So think about it's one of those, right? Two are archetypal opposites. So if we want to resolve conflict and release ourselves from future karma, if people come back, the best practice is to practice forgiveness. Because let's say you had a fight and things got really ugly. You're just repeating a karmic pattern in the next life or even in the same life if you can't let this go. You have to make your enemy your friend. And that is the secret to a lot of things with retrograde planets, especially with Mars and especially with Mercury, which are not friends, by the way. And they're both going to be retrograding, and it's going to be a lot of mental anxiety with Mars and Gemini. So got to be really careful of your speech. You can be a little bit critical. And on top of it, Virgo, you have the sun. Happy birthday, by the way. I want to mention that. You have the sun and Venus in your home sign right now. Venus in your sign is going to attract people to you. People are going to be naturally attracted to you. It's kind of like a natural glow up when Venus is in your sign. But be aware, because Venus is actually not very happy in your sign because you are mercurial ruled. You're thought provoking. You're ruled by your thoughts. You're a little bit more on the rational side, where Venus wants to cuddle and she wants all the feels. And so in her sign, she's not as comfortable. So be sure you're taking care of your mental health. Be sure you're taking care of your physical health because you are the sign of health. But also realize that right now, Venus is coming under the beams of the sun. She's going to be combust within a few weeks, about a month or so, which means love isn't doing so well right now, and maybe not so well for you. So just be patient. You have to cut through some speech of some type, some mental processes. Something needs to go. Remember that. Retrograde planets are always things that need review and revising. So it's a time to revise, review, and reflect. Don't push forward, because if you're going to push anything right now, Saturn might say stop. So that's what we have going on in the astrology. I want you to be aware of that. It can be pretty intense over the next couple of months. And the world is going to be going through some things too. And if you are interested in that, be sure you check out some of my other videos. I have some predictions about Vladimir, Donald Trump. I just did one about world leaders right before the Queen left the Earth. So if you want to know what's happening on the world stage, take a look at those videos. If you like these videos and would like to see more of them, please click the like button and subscribe. Helps the channel, and of course, it is very much appreciated from me. All right, Virgo. It's time to dissect, decode. Don't be too critical of a lover. That won't go over so well. You got to take a step back sometimes and allow things to naturally progress. All right, so let's see what the angels have to say. We're going to pull some tarot for you as well. What messages do we have for Virgo? Past life relationship, you have known each other before. Okay, I have some thoughts about this. Let's pull some tarot here. First card out is the World. It's always the strongest. That's the end of the tarot. Six of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. Six of Wands, sorry, Five of Wands. The Moon, sorry, the Moon. Final card, Knight of Wands. Oh dear. Okay, so Virgo, Mercury retrograde in the sign of Libra. It's reviewing partnerships. This could definitely feel like a past life relationship. So let's talk about what that means. K2 is the south node of the moon, and K2 and Rahu are always opposite each other, and this is where the eclipses occur. We're coming up to eclipse energy in October in the sign of Scorpio, and that is your third house. The third house has to do with communication, has to do with competitors, marketing and selling, getting yourself out there, traveling. The third house is very much a communicative house. The third house is ruled by Mercury typically, right? So this could definitely feel like you've known each other for a very, very long time. K2 is the familiar past. K2 is that thing that you did in a past lifetime that you've perfected, that you have to let go. But there's some karma here that has to be reworked. So here is this past life relationship. These are the ones that really get people. And at the center of your reading is the World. The World is always a karmic card. This is the last of the major arcana. This is the ending. This is completion. This could also be someone far away from you, so this could be a long-distance relationship. But this is something I always mention about the World card. There's fixed energy attached to it. So we have Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. That's Scorpio full moon right now. Or sorry, the Scorpio eclipses are coming up in October. So it could feel like a culmination is coming here. And the World is always the ending of this completion. It's you completing this old karma from this past life relationship, right? This is what the World card is always about. But remember this, with every ending comes the Fool, very next, which means it's time to take a risk. It's time to start something new. So as we complete this old karma, we are liberated. We are freed. That is what K2 is all about. You need to liberate your soul from past life karma. And it's the rebalancing. So this is what is the obstacle to completing this fixed energy. It's destined to happen, right? It's the rebalancing. It could be that you're not really sure what to do. You're not really sure whether or not to give resources to this particular situation, and you want to rebalance. That's what the scales are all about, and scales are represented by Libra, partnership. So you're rebalancing this. Can this be reworked in some way that it makes it salvageable? And I'm going to say, I'd be careful, because there are things around these two cards that make me go, oh my gosh, step back, Virgo. At the top of the reading is the Seven of Swords. It's the liar, cheater, thief card. I never like seeing this card. It's always someone, it's the trickster. It's Mercury. It's someone that's got a false mask on. They're presenting themselves one way, but they're actually something else. And the one thing about this particular card that I always mention to people is he's got 5 swords in his hand, he's got 2 here. He is breadcrumbing. He's leaving little clues, little red flags for you to pick up on, for you to notice and to be like, oh, stop right there, hold back. Maybe this is not the right relationship for me. Something's hidden. And the moon shows up here too. Moon is secrets. Moon is intuition. Moon is illuminating that which is in the darkness, right? And there's some healing here too. So it's asking you to go within. It's asking you to get near some water, take a nice bath maybe, get near one of the lakes. If you're not near water, try to maybe just wash your face with cold water, because it's healing in the sense that it's going to illuminate. There's secrets here that you're not aware of, and we might clarify this to see what exactly it's about, but I think you already know. I think your intuition is already telling you. The red flags are all over this situation. At the base of the reading is conflict. 5 of Wands, facing competitors, not seeing eye to eye. Your values might not match. You might be on 2 different paths. And that's what this past life relationship is always about. You're meant to meet each other so you learn something about yourself, something that has to be released within yourself, so you can liberate your soul to move on to that next that next level, because you're almost there. You are almost there. That's what this is all about. It's that culmination. Final outcome card, it's the fire pony. He wants to take you for an adventure. He's in and out as quickly. He's in as quickly as he's out, right? Hard to plan something that's meant to last because he's in a barren desert. There's no growth here. It's not like a pinnacle where you plant the seeds and you make something grow. This is very much about just taking that adventure, wanting to have fun. Short-term relationships. It's that fifth house that we were talking about with Saturn. And Saturn's going to take it out. Saturn's going to say no more of this. If there's a pattern that's being repeated in your life where you're drawing certain types of people in, this is saying take a step back. How are you projecting your energy in a way that is drawing these type of people into your life? Are you looking for love in the wrong places? Are you looking for a part-time love, one that can't actually commit to you full-time? And it creates jealousy and possessiveness and conflict and illusion and all these crummy cards that can really screw people up. So let's clarify the moon. What is being, it's the devil. It's Capricorn, like I just said. It's that Saturnian energy. It's always about control. Someone wants to control you. Someone wants to dominate you. Someone wants to keep you in chains. And the lesson of the devil is always break the chains that bind you. You can free yourself. There's not necessarily third parties here. It's just they're not telling you the whole story. And the secret is they got something that's binding them. And the truth always comes out. Mars in Gemini Gemini is the communicator, it's the chatty Cathy. Mars aggravates. And you, Virgo, can be very, very critical. So I'm going to say this to you. This is my piece of advice for you. Be careful with your speech. If someone is trying to get a rise out of you, trying to get a reaction out of you, you have to have restraint. Take the high road. Remove yourself from the situation because this could get heated very fast. They got devil energy. They got to deal with some karma. And that's just the way this one is going to work. Virgo, I feel for you because I've been in this situation and, I could talk about my chart. My chart's all about relationships. That's why I talk about love. I've been through a lot of relationships and I've seen a lot of repeating patterns. And what it comes down to is how are you projecting your energy? Are you trying to attract people that are only going to be there for you for a short term? And maybe that's what you want. But I think ultimately people always want someone that they can grow with. Does this person help you grow? Has this been a learning experience where you learn that there is something that has to give? There is something in your own psyche and in your own patterns that is asking you to give it up. And that's what these past life relationships are always about. It's liberation and freedom. They're pointing you to something in your own life that needs reworking so you can ascend to that higher level. And it has a lot to do with control, domination, breaking those chains. This is addictions. This is all of those things that hold people back, self-sabotage. And we really have to be aware of that. Ooh, heavy reading. Okay. Let's do this. I want to pull a card to see when this is all done, where do we go? Here we go. It's the apology. It's healing. This is the Page of Cups. So this is that emotional healing card. And I think you're going to have to work on forgiving and healing yourself in this situation because whatever this is, it is toxic. Okay. Remember to get in touch with your emotions and communicate your feelings clearly. Okay. This is going to be really, really important for you, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, helps the algorithm. Till next time, we'll see you later, Virgo.